Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. My name's Carolyn and I work for Durham University. This video has been really quite highly requested, so we hope you enjoy it and it answers lots of your questions. So without further ado, we're going to start our top tips for working from home. Okay, so I want to talk about morning routine first. Now, this isn't necessarily part of your working day, but I do think it is integral to you getting going, and lots of the research that we were doing was saying the same kind of thing. So first thing on a morning, if you were to just roll out of bed and then, or even not even leave bed, just stay in bed and start working in your pajamas, then there's not really a clear division between your relaxation time and your work time. And to be honest, have you really woken up in that situation? Maybe not. So what I would say is, if you can get up, get dressed. I know not everyone's a breakfast person, but if you just go about your usual morning routine, going in the shower, walking the dog, chatting with your family, whatever that might be, then you'll feel more energized to actually start work once you are refreshed and awake. So actually, you'll probably get more work done in less time. Ideally, you should make the place you study different to the place where you relax or you sleep. However, if you don't have that, because quite a few of you are in your house working from home and studying at home, and you need to get a bit creative, there might be a way for you to divide up your bedroom. So you have one clear area which is for studying and one clear area which is for relaxation. Make sure you have everything for the day in that one place, and as a result that'll mean that you're not walking around the house at different points trying to find bits of stationery and books and things. You're well prepared. That means once you start work you can stay focused. So this is a bit of a more exciting one, but if you can make your study space personalised in some way and you really make it a good place to be, then hopefully that'll keep you more on task as you actually enjoy spending time in that space. So think about bringing your favourite pens, a nice houseplant, lots of colourful mind maps you've been working on the wall, a revision timetable, whatever that might be. Don't underestimate the difference that can make. If you feel really settled in that area, then your mind should be more focused on the task in hand. However, it is also important to recognise the good that a change of scenery can do. And so if it's getting a bit samey, particularly if your workspace is also your relaxation space, so you're working and relaxing both in your bedroom, maybe you could try going and working at the kitchen table or in the garden if it's a nice day. As long as it's not going to be too noisy or distracting for you, it can actually help you re-engage with your work. It's really important that you establish a daily work routine and you actually stick to it. You need to make sure that you're not doing too little, but also that you're not doing too much and overworking, because it'll just be unsustainable over a longer period of time. The best way to do this is to have a clear plan in place. So you could use the calendar on your phone, you could use a diary or a notebook, any sort of apps I'm sure that are available out there to list all of the different things you want to achieve in that day. And then you'll get a little buzz every time you achieve one of those and you can tick something off your to-do list. At the same time, make sure within your day you don't forget to schedule in breaks. So if you have a back-to-back list of tasks and really you're struggling to stop for lunch, that's not really the best way to go about this. Breaks are so important because it allows your mind just time to process all the information that you're taking in. Something I would recommend is the Pomodoro technique. Now, I'm not sure whether any of you will have heard of it. I'd maybe heard of it like once before this video in the last few weeks when I've been looking at working from home. Basically, Pomodoro, although probably not quite pronounced that way, is Italian for tomato, and it's because the inventor of the technique used to use a kitchen timer in the shape of a tomato to time their sections of work. So they would have a 25-minute timer on to complete one specific task, and then they would give themselves a 5-minute break, and they would repeat that 3 or 4 times before having a longer break. Of course, if you don't have your own tomato timer, you can use any other sort of timer. You could use your phone. There's certainly ways you can do it through Google and other pages online, so that would be my recommendation. In order to make any real progress over a longer period, it's important to prioritise what you want to do each day. So I'd recommend you set aside 3 tasks that you're working towards, and in any particular day you've got those, they're at the top of your list, you want to get them done. Now, of course, if you move past those because you've been super speedy that day, you've got everything done, then of course you can go further down your list. But it's really comforting to know that you can chunk off your work. It seems much more manageable when you've just got those 3 things to do. Also, I know lots of people have to-do lists, but I think it's quite a good idea to have a done list. So at the end of the day, you can write down everything that you've achieved, and sometimes they're things that you didn't expect to get onto, so they might not have appeared on your original to-do list, but it's still an achievement for that day. Another thing you could do is tick off on a syllabus all the different topics that you've studied in that particular day or week. Really satisfying getting to tick those things off the sheet. Self-motivation is a skill that if you develop it right now, it's going to stand you in good stead for the rest of your life, and not even necessarily in work situations, in life situations and other goals that you might have. Some simple ways to avoid distractions are not having your phone out or switched on silent, so you're only accessing it really for breaks. I would recommend also not having a TV on, but if you prefer background noise and you can't work in silence, there's plenty of playlists that you can access on sites like YouTube and Spotify, or you might have your own music that you like to listen along to in order to stay focused. It might also be a good idea to have a polite conversation with people in your house and just let them know what you're doing, what your plan is, and ask them not to come and disturb you during that time. Now, you may be in a position where you're in a separate room, you could put a sign on the door, but if not, and you're working in a communal space where people come and go, so for example the kitchen, it might be a good idea to have a visual cue. So maybe you have your headphones in when you're focused and working, and that's a sign for someone not to talk to you about things unless it's urgent. If you are really struggling and you don't seem to be able to catch a break, then it might be a good idea to change your routine around. So if you have lots of younger siblings who are quite noisy and it makes you find it hard to concentrate, then perhaps you could work a little bit earlier in the morning or a little bit later in the evening in order to get some time where they're typically not around or not awake. So that's probably what I would suggest for that one. Okay, finally, your end of day routine. So once you've completed your work, you've got your done list or your syllabus checked off and you feel like you've achieved something, it's now time to create that clear division between your work time and your relaxation time. So in order to do this, it's a kind of a reverse of the morning routine. So if you got changed into different clothes, it might be that you get changed back into your pajamas. If you can also clear your work away at the end of the day, that's a really good idea. It's a sign to yourself that actually the working day is over, you're now going to relax completely. And so you don't want to be thinking about anything to do with the studying. Some of you might be thinking that you would never be tempted to do this, but if you are one of those people that find it hard to stop once you've got started and you want to keep on working on your to-do list and keep on going, then please do your best to try and draw that line and have a break in the evening, because lots of long days back to back is going to mean that after a few of them you're going to actually struggle to maintain that routine. You might be too tired and end up having to miss a day. So be careful, look after yourselves is my main message. Speaking of looking after yourself, please stay hydrated, ensure you get a good night's sleep, have lots of snacks ready for while you're studying, and be sure to get some fresh air as well. If you're working in the house all day, if there's any opportunity you can get for a lunchtime walk or an evening walk or any form of exercise, I would definitely suggest taking it. It'll just completely uplift your mood. I certainly find that it helps me if I'm having a long day of studying or working indoors. And finally, stay positive. Working from home is going to take some getting used to for all of us, and that's absolutely fine. You know, we're going to work hard at it, we're going to do our best to put our plans in place and get motivated, but you're going to have good days and bad days. Don't be too hard on yourself if it doesn't all go right first time. Practice will make perfect. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful and you've enjoyed listening to all the different top tips that we have. If you want to do some more research, I'd definitely recommend it. There's plenty of material out there, and at the moment I think it's probably going to be produced continually. Lots of different strategies that people are adopting in order to get the most out of working from home. If you have any suggestions for future videos, we would really like to hear them. We're happy to do recommendations and things like that, so just feel free to get in touch. Thank you, good luck with your working from home, and we will see you soon.